Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the OlimoLeague. This is the 8th installment of the weekly tournament. There's been 2 monthlies up to this point as well, and all of this has been made possible by you wonderful people who've been supporting this tournament through the Patreon program. So woo! Give yourselves a pat on the freaking back! But we start this off with a best of 1. Next round is best of 3s, and spawning here in the bottom central portion of the map. Squeezing into the tournament by the hairs of his chinny chin chin, it's Root Gaming's SuperNova!
Number right odds the blue Terran. It's MarineKing for MVP.
I guess just a little bit of context here. SuperNova originally forgot to check in, and like one second after the brackets were finalized, he's like, "Oops." But Olimoly, cool enough to let him slide. Really glad she did, because we love seeing SuperNova. He's one of the regulars here for the OlimoLeague. And it's worth noting, he stays at the Root Gaming House, which is in the Pacific Standard Time Zone, my time zone, and it's currently 5:18 in the AM for me. So props to this guy for being dedicated enough to wake up every morning, every Saturday to play this.
Yeah, it's dedication. Hashtag passion.
MarineKing, though, this will be interesting. We've seen some of the straight up coolest TVT out of this guy, with some of the weirdest things like those early +1s. We've seen some of the worst games ever as well out of MarineKing. So I think,
yeah,
I don't know which MarineKing we have to. We always talk about this, like which MarineKing is playing in the cup today, the good one or the bad one.
I'm so surprised if this is like the barracks play with the +1 that he is doing it in a best of 1. I mean, I actually thought both these guys were gonna cheese the heck out of each other in some form. You know, of course, in TVT, cheese doesn't mean like a 2-axe or, like a approach bailing all that. It means usually like the 2 tank drop of the Raven or the Marine Hellion drop. Just all types of drops, alright? But I thought for sure that's what they would be going for.
That 2 tank, like 8 Marine drop is becoming like a lot more popular lately. And I'm loving it, because it's like really cool to watch when it goes well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was like, Thanos was complaining about that like a month ago. He was like, I'm going to start seeing this professional play. It's going to be the worst. And then well, then it started happening.
The calls, man. That GM.
I know. He's so good. It's so impressive.
All right. So MarineKing's actually taking the faster expansion here. This is actually... I think once upon a time, this was okay, because you would have MarineKing, no jokes aside, be like the MarineKing. And you'd see like these crazy openers that like would all be shut down by massive Marines. You couldn't go crazy Hellions. You couldn't go Banshees as long as you had enough Marine production. But times have changed. People have been becoming really accustomed to things like Hellions as well as drops. SuperNova, well, actually, with a bit of a weird opening here with this Double Reaper Hellion Marine is actually going to be really deadly here, because with the reactor coming down, production was really delayed for MarineKing, and he has no bunker, and, well, let's be honest, never will.
Bunkers aren't worth it.
So if the Reapers in this instance act like they do versus Queens, if they soak those hits, and that Hellion can just get a couple free blasts off, it's actually going to be really painful.
I must have expected more Marines up there. Oh, well. Yeah, it is odd to see the 2 Reapers added in there, but they certainly will add a lot to the push. We also may be having a, what is this, maybe a medevac follow-up? Viking follow-up or something. But yeah, it gets on top of the Marines, and these Marines are literally the only thing MarineKing has.
This is horrible. Hellion's going to live. This isn't crazy end-of-the-world tactics just yet, but this is really frustrating for MarineKing, because he can't actually push down to the bottom here. If he does, the Reaper's actually going to deal with this really nicely, and Hellion will add that damage. He's got more Hellions coming too. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, as well as a Banshee. All right, so we had a Tech Lab on there, getting Cloak, getting a getting a Banshee. So what this means is that not only is he taking down Marines to potentially get in there with his ground units, he's taking a Marine, so his Banshee is going to be the more even better. Now, my ranking is getting a Viking and an Engineering Bay, but I think Supernova's going to be able to do like
every bit of the way. Supernova's just barely ahead. Like, it's seriously the difference of like 1 unit here. This is pretty ridiculous. SCVs might be better pulled into the Hellions than trying to repair his own Hellion here, but like a medevac breathing life into Marines, he keeps one alive. Viking's coming out, but he needs to land this thing. It's not even going to get to stay in the air.
Well, okay, SuperNova has stopped with the ground aggression. This is the last Hellion that's coming over here, it looks like. So the Viking, it does land, but it's going to be able to, get back up in for the Banshee. And MarineKing, well, not having scouted at all, mind you, has no idea where SuperNova even spawned. He's figured out that it's going to be a Banshee follow-up and has, at least one to turn it down.
I think it's kind of one of those safe moves too, where you're just like, all right, I don't really know what's coming, but a landed Viking, a Viking in the air, it's good to kind of cover your ass against 1 or 2 units. It's not like SuperNova. Like when you show an opening like this, you know he's not banking up 7 more Hellions behind it. He's come with everything he has, and he's streaming them across the map. But still, this has got him a 7-worker lead off an opponent who went for an earlier CC.
Yeah, and it makes it not seem worth it. I don't know.
Crazy. Banking up a lot of Hellions and Vikings back at home. At this point, I'm kind of... I mean, despite the tech lab, I want to say MarineKing is going to be going into mech. I don't think this is for the barracks or for stem. I think it's probably for the follow-up here on the starport. Maybe? Question mark. Is he going to lose this tech lab? Really?
Well, he shouldn't. He has another scan.
Well, he doesn't get to the natural. He loses the tech lab. Turret's going to get delayed here as well. Another Banshee comes in. Oh, the Banshee's gonna wreck these Hellions. Well,
the Hellions
wreck
the
the
Hellions.
Exactly. Glass cannon units that they are. MarineKing is just being trucked on every single way possible. One of these Banshees is finally gonna die. It's out of energy, but the Vikings land, so it's actually gonna get out alive. Oh, but it flies into another one, so never mind.
Well, now you just have to worry about the Hellions that are coming out. Whoever has 2 at a time, MarineKing has 2 at a time. Difference is that Banshee, oh, it's finally gonna die. 3 Vikings are out, and that's honestly a lot of Vikings, so. Looks like he does save his main mineral line, although his natural has been down for like 4 minutes and has not been mining much at all.
This is just crazy how much SuperNova has gotten ahead, and this all spirals off of just having like that 1 extra unit early on, whether it's the Reaper or the Hellion. Those fights were so scrappy, and looks like it is going to be mech.
A bunker, please.
that too, but yo, I don't know that I love mech in this position. It's a really hard enough style to play as is, but he's playing from behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's different ways to get ahead, I guess. If you go bio, you can just doom drop and hope to win that way. If you're mech, you can just try and turtle it out.
Well, it's actually mech versus mech.
Yeah, so. But it's mech versus mech, so this gets a little more interesting. So, I mean, it's been a while since we saw mech versus mech. I mean, of course, it was really popular back when everyone had to go mech because of Hellbat drops. You like, people just stop trying to go bio. But usually one person does just choose to go bio against the mech player. But mech versus mech, I mean, oftentimes it's because does depend entirely on Vikings. It can become like who gets the battle cruisers the fastest or who gets the the Raven domination fastest.
But the Vikings actually land behind the Hellions. I like this. It's actually going to have a lot of DPS to this fight. Unturret's coming down to help distract, and they will defend through this. So MarineKing not getting game-ending, devastating damage, but had SuperNova reacted any slower, that could have been much worse.
He just lost his air advantage, which, he may or may not be depending, entirely on. It's a good thing to have for sure. I mean, the tank lines are going to be, like, broken or made from that.
Oh, this is cool. He made wood mines. I think he's going to bait the Vikings into it. I was going to lose the Raven, though, sadly, but should these Vikings pursue...
Ooh!
They don't normally one-shot a Viking, but the splash damage might complement it just barely. Oh, 1-2 shots! Boom!
Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They do one-shot Vikings straight as a Banshee. They don't one-shot. I'm got my air units mixed up here. Either way, two Vikings do go down there. So pretty nice snipe there. At least something go his way this game.
I thought you meant, like... I thought you were trying to say that maybe they won't kill all 3 Vikings, but maybe they will with the splash damage?
Nah, I just have my units backwards.
Oh. Well, anyways, SuperNova actually being the one to push up here. Now, he still has that air domination. I mean, they're both making 2 Vikings at a time, but SuperNova's been more consistent. Now, of course, he still has that Raven.
I do like that MarineKing's trying to repair his units here. Siege tanks can help quite a bit, and he's actually getting a bit of a wall off, which is not too bad, but this might actually end up hurting more than helping in this instance because SuperNova's got way more tanks. Kablooey, that tank goes down so quickly. MarineKing taps out. GG. SuperNova takes the series.
Well, I guess we know which MarineKing was on that game.